Okay. It's 1 o'clock. Good afternoon, members of the MAG Transit Committee. The meeting is now called to order. Please state your name when making a comment or asking a question. We will now begin the meeting with a roll call. Justice, could you please take the roll call?
Absolutely, thank you. I'll go ahead and start with Aubrey Perry.
Here.
Thank you. Matt Dudley.
Here.
Thank you. Andrew Blanchard. Jason Crampton. Jose Macias. Jeff Graves. Nathan Williams.
Here.
Thank you. Christine McMurdy.
Here.
Thank you. Dawn Coomer.
Hi, this is Dawn.
Thank you. Tony Flood.
Here.
Thank you. Drew Segato, proxy for Reed Kempton.
Here.
Thank you. Jody Sorrell. William Beloit. Sorry, Jody, I saw you unmute your mic.
Can you not hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Thank you. Vice Chair Sapien.
Present.
Thank you. Nina Arredondo.
Present.
Thank you. Heather Wilkie.
Ryan McDonald is her proxy.
Thank you, Ryan. Give me one moment. Mark your name down. Salvatore LaPuma. Kristen Taylor. Sam Stevenson.
Here.
Thank you. Gabe Elias. Aaron Xavier. Grant Anderson.
Here.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Grant. And Nathan White.
Tom Quigley sitting in for Nathan.
Thank you. Could you say your name again?
Tom Quigley.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Give me one moment so I can write your name down. And Chair Corapella.
Yes.
Thank you. Chair, that completes my roll call and we have quorum. You can go ahead and proceed to agenda item 2.
Thank you, Justice. Our next item is call to the audience. MAG provides the opportunity for the public to comment on items that fall under the MAG's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda. Informational items are items on the agenda for discussion and not for action. Members of the public are invited to submit written comments via the MAG website. Any comments received 2 hours prior to the meeting have been shared with the committee members in advance of the meeting for consideration and will be included in the formal meeting minutes. Staff, have you received any online or written comments?
Thank you, Chair. We have not received any online written comments for this meeting.
Okay, thank you. Let's proceed to agenda item number 3, MAG staff report. And this item is on the agenda for information and will be presented by Patrick Stone, Deputy Transportation Director and Programming.
Thank you, Chair Corapella, members of Transit Committee. Pleasure to be here. Kind of in an unusual space, as this will be my one and only program report to this committee. Due to some reorganization we did at MAG, I currently oversee the programming group and in an interim capacity covering the planning group, of which Transit Committee falls. That being said, I will do this month and then beginning with next month's Transit Committee. This is a huge win for MAG and myself personally. Not sure, but Wendy Miller from the City of Phoenix has come over to MAG to be the TIP manager, and she will be providing the program manager reports to future meetings. A couple of items I had on the agenda for today. First, Just a quick update on the microtransit state of the practice report that is going on right now. Consultant Fair and Peers have been conducting interviews with the agencies operating microtransit in the region, as well as Valley Metro and our partners in Sacramento. The team has done the interviews, collecting data. They're going to continue to document this, and we intend to bring the full report back to the committee later this calendar year. And then finally, note of congratulations to our partners at Valley Metro in securing a federal RAISE grant associated with the Rio East Dobson streetcar extension. Another good win for the Valley Metro and the region. And with that, Chair, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Let's move on to agenda item 4. This is the approval of the May 6th Transit Committee meeting minutes. So any members of the committee, do they have any questions on the May 6th meeting minutes? Okay, hearing none. Prior to approval of the meeting minutes, there is an opportunity for members of the public to comment. So, Justice, did we receive any comments on it?
Thank you, Chair. We did not receive any online public comments for the May 6th meeting minutes.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve agenda item 4, which is the approval of the May 6th meeting minutes?
Anderson, Youngstown, I motion to approve.
Nina Arredondo, Pinell County, second the motion.
Thank you. With a motion and a second, the meeting minutes pass. We will have those participating in the meeting take part in a voice vote by turning on their cameras and unmuting their audio. We need to see faces of everyone to participate in the voice vote. For those who cannot or do not want to turn the camera, staff will conduct a roll call vote. Staff will only call those virtual participants who did not turn on their camera. So please leave your cameras open and so Justice can do a voice vote.
Thank you, Chair. There's just a few people I need to call on. Wendy Miller,
Didn't
how do you
ask for a
vote?
vote yet.
The voice vote, or the vote is for everybody turning their cameras on. We'd had a motion by Grant Anderson and a second from Nina Arredondo. So if we could have everybody who votes say aye.
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 Is there anybody who opposes? Thank you. Wendy Miller, how do you vote?
Hi, Justice. I'm a Mac staffer, not
Oh, I'm so sorry. Drew Segato, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Chair, the motion passes.
Thank you. Let's proceed to agenda item number 5. This is approval of the June 3rd, 2024 meeting minutes. So do any members of the committee have any questions on the June 3rd meeting minutes? Okay, hearing none. Prior to the approval of the meeting minutes, there's an opportunity for members of the public to comment. Justice, did we receive any comments?
Thank you, Chair. We did not receive any comments for the June 3rd meeting minutes.
Okay. Now, is there a motion to approve the June 3rd meeting minutes?
Madam Chair, this is Jesus from Phoenix. I move approval of the June 3rd minutes.
This is Charity from Mesa. I'll second.
Okay, with a motion from Jesus and second from Jody, the meeting minutes will pass. So we.
Chair,
Sorry.
We need to conduct the vote,
Good
so
call.
have members vote either aye or nay.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. We have those again, same way that we did for the prior meeting minutes, we will take a voice vote, so please turn your cameras on. Otherwise, his justice will actually will call on you if you don't turn your cameras on, so. Proceed, Justice.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Does anybody vote nay? Thank you. Everybody had their camera on, Chair, so the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Sorry for jumping on that.
That's all right.
Okay, so next we proceed to agenda item number 6, which is the draft fiscal year 2024 transit program of projects. This item is on the agenda to recommend approval and will be presented by Staff Stearns, Transportation Analyst 3.
Good afternoon, Chair Cortapella, members of the Transit Committee. I'm pleased to be here to present this item for action. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. So the Program of Projects, or the POP, is a listing of transit projects that are to be funded with federal funds in a given year, in this case for 2024. In a typical year, MAG works with our regional partners, Valley Metro and the City of Phoenix, on development of the POP, which is then reconciled when FTA releases the full apportionments. From there, the POP is concurrently taken through the MAG committee cycle and the Phoenix Council cycle for approval, and the TIP is amended as necessary before the grants can be submitted. Next slide, please. In programming the POP, MAG follows the programming priorities as outlined in the regional programming guidelines for federal transit formula funds, which were last approved in June of 2024. Next slide. The MAG region has been apportioned $156 million through a combination of formula grants, transfers from the Federal Highway Administration, and community project funding. Next slide. And before I get into this, I'll just quickly note that this is the first year that the changes from the 2020 census have been factored into the apportionments. So you'll notice that the Maricopa urban area is now receiving an apportionment of 5307 funds, and all of the urban areas are reflective of their updated names. Through the 5307, 5337, and 5339 programs, $107 million has been apportioned to the region. To be funded with this funding includes preventive maintenance, program administration, bus purchases, and system-wide refurbishments to the rail system. And just a quick note that for the purposes of this presentation, 5310 has been excluded as the prioritized listing of 5310 projects were brought through for committee approval just a few months ago in the May-June cycle. Next slide, please. And then each year, MAG requests a series of CMAQ and/or STBGP fund transfers as laid out in the RTP from the Federal Highway Administration. This year, MAG is also requesting a transfer of carbon reduction program funding for the action approved by Regional Council last fall. In total, this year's transfer requests are in the amount of $46 million. Next slide. Finally, the POP includes $2.8 million in community project funding. These funds were requested by member agencies through their congressional representatives and are apportioned to specific projects. Next slide. Following today's action, the POP will go through the MAG committee cycle with anticipated regional council approval on September 25th and FTA grant submittal thereafter. Next slide. Chair Cortapella and members of the committee, that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Do members have any questions on this item?
Madam Chair Anderson, I do have a question.
Should go ahead, Grant.
Thank you. You mentioned that the 5310 money was not included in this grouping here. When will we have a chance to look at what 5310 is being spent on and approve that?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Anderson, Chair Corpella, and members of the committee. The 5310 prioritized listing was brought through the Transit Committee, I want to say in May, it might have been June. I don't know if Justice or anyone remembers that exact date, but it has been brought through the committee and has been approved by Regional Council.
What was it being used for?
Different projects for private nonprofit providers, including vehicle purchases, preventive maintenance, operating assistance.
Chair, members of the committee, Grant, I can send you the file again. You can also find it in the agenda packet for the May meeting. And I can forward that to you after the meeting so you can have another look at it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Justice.
No problem.
Okay. We have Jesus and Christine McMurdy on the line. So Jesus, why don't you go ahead?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Quick question. Relative to the 1.382 million for microtransit vehicles, what happens? I guess my question is, if that's the capital, how are we allocating those vehicles relative to cities that might be operating microtransit service? Are we requiring like some type of funding commitment that reflects the lifetime of the vehicle, or how do we know that yet? Are we there yet even?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Sapien and Chair Corpella, members of the committee. We may need to follow up with this separately, but my understanding is that the microtransit vehicles and the $1.38 million that Mr. Sapien is referencing were awarded through community project funding to Valley Metro RPTA. And my understanding is that Valley Metro is, I think, taking over the microtransit service in the cities of Avondale and Goodyear, or perhaps it might be for a new service that they are starting. But I think that question will probably be better answered by Valley Metro, and we can certainly follow up and get you the specifics.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that we're, and I'm just making stuff up, economic downturn, we reduce microtransit service, and then we have federally funded vehicles with no operating cost. That type of thing is what I'm thinking of.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, Christine McMurdy, you can go ahead.
Steph, can you go back to that slide that had the carbon information on it? And I'm sorry, I didn't follow this. Was that a specific request for the funding to go to that? I think it's a slide after this.
Slide 12.
Okay. Can you tell me what that's about, that carbon flex reduction program?
Absolutely, Chair Corpella, Ms. McMurdy, and members of the committee. In September of 2023, Patrick Stone brought through an item through the MAG Policy Committee process. The region was apportioned just under $50 million of carbon reduction program funding, which is a new funding source to the region. It had not been accounted for in all of the Prop 479 investment plan programming. So we needed some direction from our policymakers where to allocate this funding. The action that Regional Council approved was to program 60% of the funding to electric vehicle infrastructure charging programs. And so that was about $30 million. And then the other 40% of the funding, which is just shy of 20 million, this 19.7 shown on the screen, to alternatively fueled transit vehicles. And so MAG is working on getting with a consultant right now to develop a pilot program, and I'll just see if Patrick Stone maybe wants to add any detail to that.
That's okay. Actually, this is reminding me that of the program. So I got the rest. I've been following that. So I just wanted some clarification that how it was broken out. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, Steph, this is Matt over in Avondale. Hey, quick question. So the 5337 high intensity bus allocation, that's looking at that, I see that it's 8 replacements over there on the Phoenix side. So that's just express bus, correct?
Chair Corpella, Mr. Dudley, and members of the committee, that is correct. I think it might be Phoenix Rapid buses, or it might be Valley Metro RPTA. Let me check the attachment. I have it open here. Give me just 1 second.
Okay. Now I was looking at the tables, very great tables, by the way. So like on the
Yes, so it's
hi-
page 3 of 4. Those would be express buses, yes.
Those would be express buses. And then kind of, we don't know what we're gonna do with the PGA, so there's $1 million, so would it assume that would be one bus? If we're using 8 million for the Phoenix one for 8 buses, that should get us about one express bus over that.
Potentially, yes, it would either be an express or a rapid bus. Per
Okay.
FTA guidelines, they like to see this funding, or rather they require that this funding be spent on buses that operate in some type of fixed guideway. So that would be, you know, the express and rapid buses traveling in the HOV lanes. That's how we satisfy that requirement.
Thank you, Steph.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody have any questions? I don't see any raised hands unless I missed anybody. Okay. Thank you, Steph. I appreciate
you.
you answering the member cities questions. Prior to voting, there is an opportunity for members of the public to comment. Justice, did we receive any comments on this item?
Thank you, Chair. We didn't receive any online public comments for the draft program of projects.
Okay, thank you, Justice. Now, is there a motion to recommend approval of the draft fiscal 2024 program of projects?
Madam Chair, this is Susan Phoenix. I recommend approval of the draft fiscal year 2024 program of projects.
Matt Dudley Avondale, second.
Okay, with a motion from Jesus and second from Matt Dudley from Avondale. Now, can we take a vote? People who want to do the voice vote, please turn your cameras on. If not, Justice will do a voice vote on those that the cameras are not on.
Chair Corpella, if you wanted to read the line on your chair agenda underneath the turning their cameras on to call for a voice vote.
Yeah, we will vote by turning on our cameras and unmuting our audio. Members, please leave your cameras on until after the roll call vote. Can I have a voice vote? Those in favor say aye, those opposed say no, nay.
Aye.
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 Okay,
Thank you, Chair Corpella, members of the committee. Brendan Wagner, I believe you were the only one with your camera off. I would just like to hear how you vote.
Brendan is from Scottsdale, right?
Oh, my
He's-
bad.
Yeah,
Chair, that was my apologies again.
no worries.
Thank you. With the motion in the second and the vote from the members, the motion passes.
Okay. Thank you. Now let's proceed to agenda item number 7. Are there any requests from the members for an item on a future agenda?
Chair, this is Christina Goodyear. It may not be a request for an agenda item, but just maybe a question for Jesus. Is there an update or a status on BRT?
Yes, ma'am. You want it now?
I can wait if it's easier for you.
No, I could let you know. Because of the Senate bill that directed us not to have light rail around the Capitol, the BR team had to pivot and work with the light rail team together with Valley Metro relative to the design that's going to go across for CapEx, which recently got approved by our city council. And because that line will be taking up a bigger swath of Van Buren Street more than we originally thought, the BRT team is focusing on the leg that goes along 35th Avenue up to Metro Center. in parallel, they are doing a separate, smaller effort, I'll call it, for the east-west direction, because there's a couple of ways that they're looking to come from 35th Avenue, where the north-south portion of the corridor will travel into the downtown area. Our intent is still to bring it into the downtown area, but there's a couple of things that they have to wait on relative to how's light rail going to look on that stretch of Van Buren, since we can't go by the Capitol like we originally intended. So it's still moving forward. It's a little bit delayed, and that east-west leg is pivoting.
Got it. Wow. I'm glad I asked. I had no idea that that was impacted. Okay. What kind of buses are you going to run for BRT? Just again, this is just curious.
We don't know yet. The first thing we're going to do is do a 15% design, and we also have to do some traffic analysis, again, as required by Senate Bill 1102 that talked about not diminishing traffic flow to any, significant extent. So we don't know yet. We have a couple of, wish lists, but there's a couple of exercises we'll have to go relative to what do we end up going with, such as side running, center running, mixed
Okay.
flow, or mixture of all
Right.
three.
Right.
That in turn will tell us any land and intersection impacts, which in turn will help us decide what the station and buses look like.
Fascinating. Hey, thanks, Jesus. Really appreciate it. It kind of fell off the radar, and I was just wondering if it was still moving forward. So happy to hear that there is an opportunity to still do it and do it well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And expect to see some more outreach probably late this year, early next year. And maybe at that time, we'll have the BRT team come and do a presentation of where they are and what kind of input they're looking for.
Terrific. Thanks again.
Yep.
Thank you, Jesus. Christine, that was a great question. It benefits the whole team. So appreciate Jesus's input on that item. Now, let's proceed to agenda item number 8, comments from the committee. Are there any comments or announcements from the members?
Welcome, Wendy. Look forward to getting to know you.
Okay. Okay, let's move on. So then that completes the agenda item. So the next meeting of the MAG Transit Committee meeting will be on Monday, September 9th, 2024 at 1 p.m. With no further business, today's meeting is adjourned at 1:27 p.m. Thank you.